So I'm now going to close down one and start another, and to wrap up this wonderful conference with some highlights from 2021 and our vision for 2022. So if I've got 2 clickers, therefore I'm not going to try and do 2. I'm going to do one, which is this one, and I got my great colleague behind me, Gemma, who's going to actually click these ones here. Hopefully we'll stay roughly in sync. So if we can move, please, to the Transforming Portsmouth Together slide, please. Thank you very much indeed. Our theme this year, as you know, was the people of our city, and I don't think we could have actually got it better than the breadth and depth and interesting people we've had today. I hope you've been inspired by them, as certainly I have been as I've sat down and listened and watched and observed. Yes, I knew some of them, but no, I didn't know most of them, and I hope you've been inspired from that today. I want our organisation to drive total inclusivity because I passionately feel that everyone in this city can contribute in whatever way they can. And I hope, and you will see that coming through in what we've done and what we're going to do in the coming times. Next slide, please. But to say some thank yous first. I've kept talking about our triangle of success. To our patrons, our partners and our associates. All 52 of you, thank you. Thank you for believing in the work we're doing. Thank you for seeing the value. But most of all, thank you for actually contributing people to our programs. Because you not only support us financially, you almost exclusively support us with your organisations. 2021 saw an unprecedented year of support from new partners and new patrons and new associates joining Shaping, and I'm very, very proud of that record. I also want to pay tribute to my team. Matt, Stuart and I have been together for a few years now. We've now been joined by Sam a couple of years ago, and this last year, Jess and Lisa. Because of your support to us, we can now give a better opportunity to more people. Jess started with us as a Kickstarter in April, and we were delighted that in November this year, we were able to convert her to an apprenticeship, and she's taken an apprenticeship in digital marketing. And again, it's because of your support to us, we are able to continue to do this. But today has been brilliantly led by my head of events, Stuart Brown. I can't start to tell you the stress levels of yesterday afternoon. I'm not going to name names, all right? But trust me, it was quite interesting yesterday at times. So can I just have a large round of applause for my team, please? And finally, you've seen one of our co-chairs, Mark Waldron, earlier. You've also seen our Director of Marketing, Yvonne Clay, here. I'm told they've got day jobs as well, although I'm going to check on that. We have 9 volunteer directors, 2 co-chairs and 7 other directors who give their time freely and give their time passionately to help me and the organisation deliver what we do. And again, I'd like to put your hands together for those 9 wonderful volunteers. So to some highlights, and I know I'm running out of time, so I'll be as quick as I can, but forgive me if I go over the witching hour. Our continued support to our business mentoring programme has been strengthened by our partnerships with the organisations, some of which are here today and some aren't. Our current business count at the end of 2021 was just over 8,000. 6,500 of those businesses employ less than 10 people. So a lot of the activities and a lot of things you see, we have to be very careful how we deploy the support programs. But equally, we've got a great opportunity to make sure that we can make a difference. The growth in our businesses in the last year have been mainly in online retail and construction. I guess you might not be surprised with one of those, but you might be slightly surprised with the other one. Construction is the #1 business count in our city. We've got more businesses in construction than any other industry, and it's a great high-tech business to be in. However, at the same time the businesses were growing to just over 8,000, our workforce, Portsmouth-based workforce, declined 5,000 people from 106 to 101,000. And clearly, we must make sure that we do something with that. The losses mainly are in wholesale, transport, hospitality and business services. And also, we held our breath at the end of September last year with the end of furlough. We weren't sure what was going to happen with the tens of thousands of people that had and were on furlough at the time. But although we're not out of the woods yet, I'm delighted to say that in December 2019, our universal credit claimant count was 4,500. It rose to over 11,000 at the height, and it's now at 7,300. So whilst it's still shockingly high compared to the 4,300, we have weathered the storm a bit better than some other areas, and we need to do more now to make those people have a pathway back to employment. Our workplace health and wellbeing program, you heard from Lisa earlier, exactly, you heard from the workplace health and wellbeing program was relaunched in 2022, and we are going to make sure that we do that with Lizzie Butcher and the team. Lisa told you about our business resilience program, and again, you'll see more to come from there. Our Crowdfund Portsmouth program, in the 2 years it's been running, has now raised over £600,000 for the projects in this city. And what we've seen in the last 2 years with government grants is the ebb and the flow of the take-up of that programme. We've now got 3 more grants that the government have actually released. So again, you'll see that take-up slow. And once those grants are finished, you'll see that come up. And we're really delighted still to be working with the crowdfunder team. In December 2021, supported by our newest programme lead, Sarah Bell, who's got over 20 years' experience in the tourism market, we launched the new cruise passenger programme. This is so exciting for us because this is not a PO1 to PO6 programme. We're going to be looking regionally to work with the region immediately around Portsmouth to make an offering to the cruise liners that they cannot ignore. So I'm delighted that not only is the port clearly involved and Jane and the team from Visit Portsmouth, but we have Cruise Britain, Tourism South East and Visit Hampshire all now bought into this programme, and Sarah and I are very excited about what we can do to grasp this market as we go forward. More of that later. If I can go to education and skills, thank you. You've heard from Hayden earlier about the brilliant Explore Your Future, and I will cover more of that in my 2022 update. And Joe and Lee thoroughly deserved their award. Our apprenticeship programme, delivered virtually in February last year, will be delivered this year in person, and that will be again in either April or May. We're working with the schools to make sure that we get it right. But as you heard from Jane earlier, our biggest and proudest moment is the 100 in 100 campaign. For the very first time, every Travel to Learn college in and around this city worked together on one common goal. And we are absolutely thrilled. If we can go on to the next slide, and the next slide again. 413 jobs created and 269 placements. We're not stopping there. We're going to make sure we do this again, and we are going to start that process in the spring. Next slide, please. On community, wow, what a year we had. Our ongoing commitment to the people of our city through our ambassador programme has seen that grow again. The digital enablement programme led by Husky Patel, which seeks to support both school children who don't have access to a device and isolated adults equally, has been brilliant. We've raised over £15,000. We have 156 requests for kits, and we've delivered over a third of that number, and we're continuing to roll those out. You've heard about the Armed Forces Covenant, and I promise this table and everybody here, we will never fail in keeping this important programme at the front and centre, because you deserve our support. Again, you heard, because of COVID restrictions, the Care Leavers programme couldn't actually deliver what we wanted, but we're now going to start that soon. And finally, the Monica appeal. Monica Thornton, the mother, the parent of the inspirational Michael Thornton, has given us her name after her passing to this programme. And I can't think of a more fitting individual to name our programme after. We want to give every charity in the city the ability to get free, skilled support. And this year, we will be building up that programme and offering them under Michael's programme leader stewardship. But it also demonstrated a great partnership. Mike and Aaron at HSDC supplied us with 2 T-level students, and they are building the database by which the donations of time and skill can go in, and then the usage of that time can also be monitored. It really is a win-win. And Chloe and Ash, I hope, have got a lot out of working with Shaping on this most important programme. Last but by no means least, last year, I'm excited about the latest programme we're starting, again with our 3 Travel to Learn colleges, our 2 social housing companies, Portsmouth City Council and the Society of St James. We have in this city 3 residences where at the moment 75 rough sleepers are housed. And I will talk more about this particular programme in my 2022 plans. Choose Employability is a brand name that the Society use in these 3 residences. They also run, not us, they run Choose Life. Because what we're asking those residents to do is to have hope, and we are going to back that up now by making sure that the 5 partners I mentioned give them a pathway to employability. So, despite COVID, and thanks to the support of all of you, we've had a very, very busy 2021. If we can go on to the 2022 slide, please. And the next one. If you take nothing away from today, our personal vision is that the 4 pieces of this jigsaw, which will be added to in a moment with a 5th one, drives everything we do. We have to get businesses involved in the education our FEs are delivering. We have to get our FEs involved in business. We have to offer those in work or out of work an upskill roadmap, an upskill pathway. We have to make sure that we are delivering to the businesses in the city the skills and employability. To quote Mike Gaston at the event we ran last year, "If you give me 30 minutes of your time, Mr. Business Person, I will give you your next employee." And no matter what those 4 pieces of the jigsaw do, we have to, if we can go to the next slide, remember everything we do will be about the social value we bring to those people that we engage with. It's going to drive everything we do this year, and some organisations put a value on an outcome. We can't and we won't do that. We are going to capture every outcome, every care leaver that gets a pathway, every rough sleeper that does, every child that gets inspired by a video. We are going to capture all of them, and we are going to record them so our partners can also use them as part of their own social value reporting. It's because of the financial support our partners give and what the 121 volunteers do means that we can deliver so much value to the city. So, to the coming year. And the next one, please. I was very proud in 2013 to be a voluntary leader of what was then called our Business and Enterprise Programme. It's what we've been known for most of our time. It's what we will be known for going forward. We're not going to change that. But we have several organisations, and some of them are here today, offering short, medium or long-term services. So we need to make sure that we're not just another offering, one that duplicates or confuses the need. So it's time for a change. Working with David Patterson, the programme leader for this, Mark Pembleton, who has 2 jobs, one at the council and also the business director on the Shaping board as a volunteer, we want to change the way we actually offer support. Portsmouth has consistently been recognised, you heard it from Gerald earlier, as being a great city of entrepreneurs. But 10% of our businesses are closing after year 1. 35% are closing after year 3. We have to get to the root cause. That's not all bad reasons, because some of them are very good, but we have to get to the root cause, and we will work with all our partners to make sure that we actually offer at the right time the right level of support to that. So if I can go on to the next slide there. Our Business and Enterprise Programme within our business pillar will be renamed Startup and Thrive. If we can go to the next slide, please. Startup and Thrive will be nothing without the inclusive support of every community within our city. We want to make sure that whatever minority element of the city or majority element, you will have an ability to come and ask for help and steer that particular ship. We want to smash as many glass ceilings in this city that we need to make sure that everybody gets the right level of support. And that's why we're going to invite members of each of that community to do so. But we're also going to promote sustainability as our commitment to the client Action Board. 40% of our carbon comes from our businesses. So we have to, and we can, and we will do something about that. Our aim is also to continue promoting the success of our city, because my goodness me, we've got a lot to shout about. Next slide, please. So the rest of the business programs that we've heard of partly in 21 and coming to 22 are here. We've covered with Lizzie the workplace health and well-being. We've covered with Lisa the business digital resilience. Crowdfund Portsmouth, I mentioned, is an outstanding success. And I mentioned what Sarah and I, with our partners, plan to do with the cruise passenger programme. As Portsmouth Port becomes the #1 port in the UK for those boutique ships, we want to take that opportunity. But we can't just keep them within 3 kilometres of the funnel of the ship. The shore excursion companies won't buy it. We have to make sure that the offer is a bit broader than that. Finally, I'm delighted that with the Hampshire Chamber of Commerce and the Portsmouth District group that I work with, we will be launching our 2nd year of our Portsmouth Business Week. It will be on April the 25th to April the 29th, and I'm delighted to say that one of Shaping's new partners, or patrons, the Purple Group, who are here today, will be actually advising and working with Aaron, Ross and the team to actually put on what will be an outstanding celebration over 5 days of our Portsmouth Business Week. Next slide, please. So education and skills. As we said, right across the industries, we want to build up this library of these career stories. And when I say right across the industries, that includes the creative industry. And where needed, we will work with Portsmouth Creates and Andy and the Guildhall Trust to bring all of our organisation to bear on those wonderful sets of industries who have different, unique, and sometimes challenging, but sometimes not, support needs. We will continue to work collaboratively with our partner colleges and our social housing companies to bring that. And the benefits that those 5 working together bring is amazing. Next slide, please. And the next one, please. So I wanted to talk about the business survey because I know we're running out of time. 3 years ago, we ran a survey. 257 of you filled it in, and you told us what your issues are. We are going to rerun that survey later this year, and I ask you to support us in actually making sure you complete that. By you telling us what your needs are means we can do something better. 100 Phase 2. Whatever we call that programme, we're going to relaunch that in the spring. The Portsmouth Pledge. This is really important. Every training provider has agreed to sign up to a pledge to work together to offer every adult that wants a pathway to employment that pathway. And if one college doesn't give that pathway, we will actually work with that individual to do so. And I'm delighted that we will carry on and work with that and do it. The Special Education Needs and Disability Project that I'm proud to be a member of, we will make sure, as you've seen today, that those with individual challenges continue to get our support and focus, because by goodness me, they can add a lot to value. Next slide, please. Thank you. So let me start with choose employability. If we're to make an impact in the social value we bring to our city and change the lives of people that want to, then we will do so with our community programmes. This one particularly is something that's close to my heart. I've talked about there's 75 people being in the 3 residencies. And we met for the 2nd time this week, again with our 3 colleges and our 2 social housing companies. And an amazing young man, I'm going to call him Tom, it's not his real name, came into the meeting. And Tom was incredibly brave. And he said to us all that if you put me on a job now with my personality disorder and my alcohol addiction, I'm going to screw this up. He said, so what I want to do is I want to get dry, I want to get my medication balanced, and at the same time, if you can give me an educational pathway to employment, then when the 2 come together later in the year or next year, I'll be ready. And the people that were at the meeting from the 5 partners, all of us were just in awe of what that individual guy did. So we've now got 12 of the 75 residents from those 3 houses who have come forward to actually meet with the colleges and the social housing companies on the 16th of February to work out how we get them on their pathway to employment. Nothing can drive us more than making a difference to these people's lives. The Armed Forces Covenant I've covered, and you know that we're going to continue that. When we've got to a point in maturity on the Armed Forces Covenant programme, we will then turn our attention to the Employee Recognition Scheme, which has equal value. The Moniker Appeal, I've already talked about the wonderful work that lady is going to inspire us to do, and Michael and I will make sure that we come out and ask for your donated time. Next slide, please. Digital enablement, well again, our aim here is to carry on and making sure that every school child that needs access to a device, every adult that's isolated, we do our best to get them that device, as well as first-year internet connection, and hopefully the funding will allow it too. But here's the problem. Albert, 86 years of age, been given a device, lives in Paulsgrove, delighted with it. City of Portsmouth College, free of charge, taught him how to use it. It now doesn't work. What does he do with it? So working with Luke Rees and the Portsmouth Grammar School, 12 brilliant 16-year-old students, we are mapping the city where our devices have been given out. We will then talk to a community hall in that area and ask for a desk and a chair for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 days a week. We will publish that map to everybody that's got a device, so if Albert needs help, he knows on a particular day, at a particular time, he can walk in and get it, and that's what we'll do as we mature this programme. Care leavers, you've heard from Ken the wonderful work we're going to do, and Portsmouth ambassadors will continue to ask you to actually get trained, get the badge, and just fall in love with your city, either the first time or all over again. 2022 is going to be our year. It's going to be the city's year. It's going to be Shaping's year if we all pull together and work for a common agenda. Before I finalise my last slide, can I just ask 2 things? Directly following this conference, Stuart Brown is going to send out a survey about today. Now, COVID has taken some hosts away, and we've had to quickly sort of backfill with odd last-minute people. Okay, we had a problem with the doors upstairs today. They haven't been open for a while, I'm told. But the venue is stunning, and we will never, ever hold our conference anywhere else. But please fill the survey in and send it back to us. And the other thing is, please, because we are not-for-profit, could you return your badges as you leave in the cloakroom? If you're not going out via the cloakroom, could you please actually just leave them on the table? So, how can you help? Our partners, I beg you, please keep supporting us. Please keep helping us, because without you, we can't do what we're doing. Our volunteers, please continue to give us your time and passion. And everyone here today, if you're not involved already, then Sam and the team will be out by the cloaks with some pamphlets and leaflets to show you how to get involved. Next slide, please. Does this still work? Hear me? Yeah, okay, thank you. That's better. Thank you very much indeed. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for your support. Let me just give you 3 reasons why you should carry on doing it. Just think of that young business who gets to the 2nd year of their existence and is running out of cash. They're running out of those initial projects because the friends they had who gave them that project has actually sort of done it for. And they're just at a crossroads as to know, have I made the right mistakes, the right decisions? Have I made a mistake? What should I do? With your support as a mentor, with your experience, with your care, you can actually help them along that way. In education, imagine the joy on a 15-year-old's face when they look at a video and see non-airbrushed your career. Just imagine inspiring that youngster to actually take that path. In community, imagine getting Tom through his addiction, which the Society of St James will cover, but what we will do with our 5 partners is offer him and many others a pathway to employment. If we can do this together, then if we can have the last slide, we truly can transform Portsmouth together. Thank you for coming, and see you next year.
on your soapbox, boy, and that's not gonna make you taller.